Sometimes y'all will invite yourselves over 5 times a week. Sometimes y'all will want to call every day and talk. Bam, I'm not a dickhead. I'm going to answer the phone and talk. Let's talk. But no, I have not said I wanted to be your boyfriend. I have not said I'm looking for a relationship. I have not said that I view you in that light. I am just enjoying what's happening. And because you are trying to sell yourself as the greatest girlfriend in the world, you wonder why it's not.
What is going on, guys? I'm Jay the Black. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. I just want to speak on what Joe Budden said during an Instagram live. A portion of it was recorded and it was put on World Star Hip Hop. I'll link it down in the description box. I might even play a little bit of it at the beginning. I'm not sure. But he was speaking to this particular female on his IG live, you know, and they were speaking about relationships. And Joe Budden basically said that women are delusional when it comes to commitment and companionship from a lot of guys. You know, a lot of these particular females will deal with the guy with no labels. They will be having relations with these guys unprotected. And when these particular females want a commitment, a lot of these guys are looking around like, I never said that I would give you a commitment. Where are you getting that from? You know, where are you getting it from that I want a commitment, you know, from you, like a relationship? And there was nothing ever said. And I think it's very interesting because you got a guy like Joe. People are going to look at his background. They're going to talk about the women that he dealt with. The thing is this, man. No matter what you may think of a person, no matter the type of women he's dated, he has a perspective that is needed. And I think the women that he has dated actually helps that. You know, the fact that he's been in the industry, the fact that he's dated women who became known just for dating him for the most part. No one really knew of them until they got with him. Let's just be real, you know? And he's dealt with these type of women for, I think, superficial reasons. He may have cared for them. I'm not saying he didn't care for them, but he has a perspective that a lot of people should see. And that's why I'd say the red pill is growing faster and faster. People, a lot of guys are becoming more and more red pill. And with this quarantine going on, they're looking at stuff online. They're looking up content either on YouTube or other places. They're seeing the conversations that we are having as men. And they're seeing that we all are thinking the same thing when it comes to having relationships with women, that you do have women who are delusional. They will deal with a guy. They will chase a guy who has options. They will chase men who really don't want a relationship, but they think that they can talk these men into a relationship. You cannot do that. It just will not work. If you have to convince a guy as a woman, if you have to talk a guy into getting into a relationship, if you have to convince him of dating you, what is the point? Seriously, what is the point? What is the point of dealing with the guy if you're in a situation where you have to talk him into wanting to date you? That doesn't make any sense as a woman. You should have more self-esteem than that. But unfortunately, you have a lot of females nowadays that don't have very much self-esteem, no matter how attractive they are. They will always chase rappers and athletes and, you know, married men in relationships, because they think they can either take those men from other women or they can outcompete other women for that man's attention and become that man's girlfriend or wife. That's not how the world works. A man with options, unfortunately, unless he really wants to be with you, 9 times out of 10, he's just going to deal with you as somebody just to have relations with. That's it. There's nothing else that's going to come of that. Absolutely nothing. You're deluding yourself if you think that you can talk a guy into wanting a relationship with you. You can't. As a woman, you should never be in a situation where you have to talk a guy into wanting to date you. But the fact that you have women that have to talk a man into dating them, they have to convince him, they have to come up with plans about how it can work. It just shows you a lot of these chicks are deluding themselves, and that's why it's hard for them to be able to get into, you know, relationships that matter, because they are overlooking men who actually want to be in relationships with them. For the simple fact that man doesn't have enough swag, that man don't have enough chicks on the side. He ain't driving a nicer car. You know, he's not, you know, treating her the same way all other men that she dealt with treats her. There's a certain specific type of guy that she likes to deal with, you know. And that is why a lot of men continue to fall into the same traps for a lot of women, because, you know, they themselves can get caught up in the looks department, or get caught up in the fact that, you know, she's attractive. You know, they can end up over pursuing, you know. But you notice that there's a lot of women who will over pursue men to the point to where those men are just not interested. And then they want to blame all men for why their relationships don't work. You can't blame all men, because you can't get the men that you want. Look at you have females, right? They will date guys who look exactly the same. They're about the same height. They basically, body wise, they're probably skinny or slim or muscled up or whatever. Just have the same type of body type. They may even drive the same type of cars, or they may speak the same type of way. 'Cause you got dudes who talk similar to each other. You know, they just have like this prototype dude that they always want to deal with, and then they wonder why the relationships or whatever it is ends up not working out. And what they don't understand is that if you don't get past your biases, if you don't get past your wants and what you like and what you still like, those likes are what's keeping you single. Those likes are what's keeping you as a baby mama or as a side piece, not a wife, because you refuse to update and make changes in your dating life that's going to be beneficial towards you. You got some women that have given up. You got some women who have given up and they have become complete gold diggers. You know, they don't care. They just want a man who's rich. And that's sad. You know, that's sad that you got women who are in their prime just giving up on life and say, as long as he's rich, I don't care. But you do care, because you're not going to date no fat slob, even if he is that money. You know, that's the one thing that's going to keep you from going over that particular, you know, situation. But I think that Joe Budden is right. And I think that Joe understands it through all his failed relationships. And the fact the women that he's dealt with that he didn't have a title with, you know, a lot of men who have options, they're not going to fall for the first, you know, not first, they're not going to fall for it. It's just any chick. That's why the side chicks look different than the wives. The wives look different than the side chicks, because a guy has a type of woman that he wants to be raising his kids, it'd be taking care of the household. And then he got the type of woman who has no good qualities whatsoever, can't cook, can't clean. But he knows that she's good at doing one thing and doing one thing right. Okay. And he's going to deal with her because he knows that she's going to do that one thing right. Now, it is harsh, but this is the reality. And again, you're seeing more men, especially in the industry, the men that y'all chase, are starting to have the same mindset as a lot of us do, who have become more red pill, who have gone their own direction. You know, a lot of us are starting to see things the same way. You know, the dating market doesn't care that you're still attractive at 45. The dating market doesn't care that you were married a couple of times and divorced a couple of times. The dating market doesn't care that you don't have any kids, but you know, you're 35 or, you know, 39 going on 40 and you're still single. They don't care about that. They just care about whether you're able to attract suitable men who are able to be the husband, father, or boyfriend that you've always wanted, which should be the goal of most women, if not all women, but it's not. You know, a lot of women want to play games and they want to be single. They want to play the dating. They want to be in the dating market for as long as possible. As long as they are attractive and got big assets and big tits, they want to be out there getting as much attention as possible. They want to be sleeping around, because yes, they do be sleeping around as much as possible. And they want to use themselves up to the point to where they're forced to basically settle down. You know, that's why when you have older women who get into relationships, they don't have a high enough drive as far as having relations. It reminds me of Delicious. I know Delicious, right? Former reality TV person, known for, walking away and showing her big assets. Anyway, she went on Instagram to complain about how much her fiance likes to sleep with her, likes to have relations with her. And it's very interesting because she's a very hyper, with her looks, so to speak. And she's complaining about a guy who wants to have relations with her. Like, what did you think he was with you for? Because he's seen you in all these videos, he's seen you in all these pictures, and now he's able to have that anytime he wants. And you don't like that? Would you rather him go and do that with other women? And I think that it's because you have these women like her who are exhausted. They done been used up so much, they don't even like to have relations with their own boyfriends because they're so used up. They're so exhausted physically to where they don't even like to have it themselves. And they done trapped that dude into a relationship thinking that he's going to get that whenever he wants, just to come to find out that she don't really like it that much. So he's like, well, wait a minute. I'm thinking it's one way when it's something else. Because you got females out there that may look the part, but as soon as they can ensnare you into a committed relationship, man, they got you. So that's why you will see a lot of older guys who date younger women who are not exhausted, who are not used up. And yes, you do have attractive older women out there, but a lot of those women are used up. That meter has run. I think Joe understands that. That's why you would see Joe date women who are younger than him. He's not going to date women his age or older because he understands. A lot of these guys don't. And they're not getting into committed relationships. They're not trying to put a ring on these. Well, Joe did. Joe did try to put a ring on the chick he was with. Then he realized that she was just like a lot of the other women out here. The ex-groupies. Then maybe been around the industry just a little bit too much. And then that's when he slowly backed away. But you already got a kid with her, Joe. But it's good to see that Joe is come around and he's seeing things for what it is. And I think that more people need to hear this message, which is why I'm doing this video.